What's up, gamers? This is NGG here with another video. Today we are talking about Spells and Secrets. This game is by Mirage. I think that's how you say the company's name. And I say we because I'm not alone in this. This is a very multiplayer game. This is 2-player couch co-op. So we're gonna have our guest host come in.
Hey everyone, my name is Devine Cummings, VTuber, also known as Manalco97 here today, and I'm here to review Spells and Secrets here with Nintendo Gamer Gal here on the Nintendo Switch.
And we are happy to have him. So we are going to go over all the usual stuff. We're going to go over story, gameplay, and we'll give it a rating for you. Obviously, we're going to do the gameplay as a co-op experience because that's how we played it. We'll let you go ahead with the story. Go ahead, give us the story. Give us the skinny of the Spells and Secrets.
Okay. So first you start off creating your own original character, custom created character rather. Once you get past that, essentially you arrive at this school of wizardry. And essentially what your goal is to rescue not only all the students that have been either captured or trapped in these like different levels and everything, but essentially you have to beat both higher level wizards or students and then also an already existing like student that was going to become a teacher, but then he switched sides essentially. Granted, you'll meet like, you know, other good teachers along the way, but essentially they're saying that there's somebody's casting, like, you know, holding the students hostages, and that you need to go through each and every individual level to rescue them. And while you're going through each and every individual level, you'll come across multiple wizards with different abilities, like some shoot ice or poison or electricity, or I think it's like one of them was like bushes and like stuff like that, and like shockwave. So you'll come across different wizards across the game, but meanwhile, while you're fighting these like bosses or mini bosses, you'll end up eventually getting to the main threat. And his title changes depending on where you are in the game. At first they just go like, oh, it's Masked Man, or he'll have like a bunch of question marks or a no name, but then the more you progress on, the more they reveal his actual name, and then you see his actual face. But that's like if you decided to continue on that far. But essentially you're just going from one boss fight, if not several boss fights, to the other in order to reach the main threat and to rescue all the students from the school essentially.
So yeah, that was definitely the story, and you know the school been taking hostage and stuff. So let's get into gameplay now, because that's where the game really shines. I would say the story was very minimal. This is a roguelike, and if you don't like roguelikes, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening if you purchase this game already, because it is definitely a roguelike. You are definitely going in and these stages multiple times. So how it works obviously is you're a magic student, so when you get into the first world, you get an item immediately, and since there's only one item that you can get, we either pick who wants it. Sometimes, you know, he'll get it, sometimes I'll get it, depending on what the item is. If it's something he knows he's not going to use, he'll give it to me, and if it's something I know I'm not going to use, I'll let him have it. You're allowed to have like a couple of artifacts that you're holding throughout the chapter, and like each level you have to get to like the mini boss of that dungeon. So you're progressing through the boards and using the magic that you equip, and you know, obviously because it's a roguelike, you have to die and level up your magic, or progress the game and level up your magic. So you'll find like this guy who will save your pennies for you in a bank if you so choose. You know, all the experience points don't go away, so when you come back from being into the school and coming back into like the hub, like I would say it's like the patio where they have all the students and teachers waiting, the ones that are not stuck in the school. And in that area, once you've saved enough people from the dungeons, you bring them back. You have to use the teachers, like you have the first year, second year. I think it goes up to fourth year students, where every time you come back with experience points, you use those experience points to level up your magic. And like there's this big griffin statue that you use to level up like your mana, your hearts, and your like shields. So you have to use a combination of all the things that you've recovered from and the points that you've recovered from the game when you're coming in and out to get yourself prepped for the big battle. And now I will say, in the multiplayer, I found that they make it a little bit more difficult when you're playing multiplayer, because there was a time where he sat out for a little bit and I did the multiplayer and I was able to reach the final boss super fast, super quick. But when it was us together, it like halves the points that that damage the enemies are taking. So, instead of doing 10 damage, which is what I would do now when we're playing together, I'm doing 5 damage. So I guess that's how the game like makes it so that it's easier for you if you're playing a single player and harder for you if you're playing multiplayer. But there is like friendly fire sometimes, depending on some of the magic you use, can be friendly fire. So you definitely have to be careful, because you get such a limited amount of hearts in this game that any little hit will knock you out. So you have to make sure, and it's very hard to get those hearts back. Sometimes you'll find them in a bag. If you've upgraded the trader inside the castle that will upgrade the shops and stuff like that, sometimes he'll sell you hearts, but even then money is hard to come by in the dungeons, and he is not always like, you could find the boss and not find the room he was in, and sometimes it's not worth going back to look for him if you could just beat the boss and keep going, at least in my opinion. Did you want to talk some about the gameplay, because I know you had a lot to say?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I know since we like played on the Switch and everything, it lags a lot. I know that was one thing, like, the constant like lag and stuttering, and essentially it turns into crashing. And like you said, with this being a Metroid main, or not a Metroid main, I'm sorry, a roguelike, this game is essentially meant for you to be played on repeat. But then what the issue is that instead of you fighting one boss at a time, one boss would turn into 2 bosses at a time, and they all have full health bars, and you have a limited amount of health bars. So while it is meant to be played on repeat, the biggest issue with this game, especially gameplay wise anyway, is that both the enemies and the bosses are way stronger than you are. So if you don't have the best things equipped on the first run or the first try or go, then essentially it's just RNG on like how long you can reach the final boss as quick as possible. So it's just like, it'd be one thing if this game was super easy, but this game is not easy at all, especially even with 2 players. And the fact that this game also has like friendly fire on top of that, and these boss fights and missions, and let alone the enemies, are extremely hard, and it's a one-shot run. If not, you get reset to the beginning of the hub world. This is truly obnoxious, and definitely not a easy or fun time to experience on the first few runs, if in general. And you have to do it 5 times.
I will say we can revive each other if we don't get murked before we revive the person. You can revive your partner, but they only come back with half a heart and no way to replay, unless it's very hard to find the potions, and the potions only revive 1 heart. So and every damage they hit you is like half a heart, so you only get half a heart when the person revives you, so you only get 1 hit until you're KO'd again. The potions are very, very, like, they're randomized. So I think we had the last run that we did, I think we both had a potion, so we were able to defeat the boss and go through the stages, because the potions, it takes like maybe 10 minutes for it to like regenerate the potion. So like, while you're waiting for the potion to regenerate, you could get hit a lot. It's not like, oh, I used the potion and I could use it again right away. No. You gotta wait like 10 minutes, or a lot of fighting has to happen before you regenerate that potion. So this game is very tough, and it is not for the faint of heart. I will say, it looks like a kid game, but I would, unless you're playing with them and are very patient, I would not say this is a kid's game. Is there anything else we missed before we move on to ratings?
I mean, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but essentially you have to play through this game like 5 times in order to get the real ending after credits. Like, essentially you have to play through this game 5 times, because it's not like a one and done or three times in a row and you're done thing. Like, no, you literally have to unlock all 5 barriers for the class, or for the for the school. You have to unlock all 5 barriers, and within those 5 barriers, then that's when you get the actual ending and after credits, which, yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty tough, guys, and after every barrier it gets ever so slightly harder, which is why you definitely want to be leveling up and talking to the teachers and progressing your magic, or whatever you like to use. Like, I definitely like to use my base magic, and you definitely like to use your ice magic, so that was a little like tricky when I was close to you, because sometimes you could hit me with it. All right, now let's get into ratings and give this game a rating from 1 to 5. What would you give Spells and Secrets as a rating from 1 to 5?
I would give this game a 1 out of 5, honestly. My biggest issue with this game is just the repetitiveness of it. And the reason why I mean repetitiveness of it is that, like, you have to go through this game 5 times. That's a starter. Number 2, there's no difficulty setting, and the reason why I mean difficulty setting is that this game isn't easy. It's very difficult. It's a roguelike game, so they expect you to play through multiple times, and essentially this game is a Kickstarter game that has a budget. So their budget was, we're just gonna have you do the same thing, recycle the same enemies, have the same characters, do the same missions, the same boss fight, have the same final boss 5 different times for 5 different barriers that don't do a single thing. The reason why I give this game a 1 out of 5, because like I said, if this game was easy, I can understand this being a roguelike, but especially since we play this on the Nintendo Switch, or the Switch 1, if you want to call it that, it lagged, it stuttered, it buffed, it crashed. It sounds like a broken car, is what I'm trying to say. It sounds like a car that's been run its mileage on it, and it just wasn't a fun game. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, you do the same gameplay loop, but the only difference is the more you progress, the harder it gets. And it's just like, it really should be, the more I progress, the easier the game should get. And like I said, besides from, like I said, the barriers and everything that have you, it doesn't change very much. Like, the only subtle differences that you know you're progressing is when you reach the final boss, and that's if you reach the final boss. And when you do reach the final boss, it's just like, he becomes the masked man to, okay, he's one of the students that they've been telling us about, and then essentially he goes from, oh, I'm gonna get the Griffith one day, to I got the Griffith, and it still doesn't matter of fact, it might become easier. And I was just like, okay, that's even if you reach that far. And I've looked up YouTube videos, no one has even gotten to that far into the video that isn't a content creator. If you're just, a person that randomly plays games, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're this YouTuber like, oh, I'm playing Spells and Secrets for the first time, oh, it's so much fun, yeah, I would enjoy the game too if I only had to play it for an hour long. So essentially, that's just why I give it a 1 out of 5. Like, the more you continue with it, the harder it gets, and it doesn't get any easier, and then it just starts to loop repeatedly 5 times over.
So this is guys, look, perspective, right? Because I love this game. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I will say the repetitiveness is where I will knock it down, and because it did stutter on us, sometimes the music was gone for like a whole stage. So it did have its bugs, but otherwise, I loved the gameplay loop. Yeah, because the story had been better, sure. But I think I found my new genre, guys. I think I love roguelikes, because a lot of the games that I find that I'm loving a lot are roguelikes. So for me, it's a 4 out of 5. Obviously, it could have been better, like with the bugs and the crashes and stuff like that. But besides that, like when I played on my own, like when I played solo, I didn't have any of those issues. I don't remember having any stutters or any glitches. It might just be that they didn't fix the multiplayer. Maybe a lot of people who tested it weren't testing the multiplayer, and so maybe that's why we were having a problem. But I loved this game. I loved it so much. I mean, would I go back to it? No. Once I beat a game, I don't go back. But I did like it enough where I was like obsessively like, I know you didn't want to finish it. I was like, come on, let's go. I want to beat this game, and I can't do it solo. I will say that it is going to be super hard to do it solo. I did get to the final boss twice on my own. It's just beating the boss by yourself would not, like, we had to revive each other a couple of times at the end. and you not having a way to revive yourself is gonna be like super difficult if you're playing by yourself. So that's why I will say, like, it's gonna be harder if you're playing by yourself. But this game is fun. I liked it. I like the randomness of it. Every run felt a little different just because of what I was given to work with at the time. So I know for you that was but for me, I had fun with it. So that is our review. You want to let the people know where to find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Devine Cummings VTuber. You can also find me on Twitter or X at VTuber Devine as well. And thank you, Nintendo Gamer Gal, for having me a part of this review today.
You sound so mad. It's over. The game is over for you, but I had fun. Thank you guys for watching. Happy gaming, guys. Bye.